I mean, what I find fascinating about this is that there's an argument to be made that Roaring Kitty is actually running this company right now.
Mm-hmm.
He is driving them toward a strategy that might be successful in the long term.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Depending on where you are in the world, Roaring Kitty is back in the limelight after taking a 2-year hiatus. If you don't remember who he was the individual who took $50,000 and turned it into $48 million after starting the meme stock bull run with GameStop and AMC. So he is back on X, or what was Twitter back then, and he is twittering up a storm, posting a bunch of cryptic videos and pictures, and somehow his followers are trading off of this information. I wish I knew how to do that, or would be interesting to be a part of that group. Although I think those trades are very risky, and I am not purchasing any of his stock choices at this point, as a lot of them are most likely overbought. But hopefully this signals a run on risk assets, and that would include crypto and crypto meme stocks based off of famous people's pets. So that would be interesting. Over the last 90 days, the 3 top cryptos that performed the best were meme coins, and that includes Pepe up 700%. We also had Floki, which I don't know much about that coin. I did not see Shib, but I did see Dog with Hat. So those all performed very well compared to the rest of the altcoin market, and obviously way better than Bitcoin. That being said, a lot of altcoins have given up all of their gains since the bull run has started, or at least in the last 90 days, and AVAX is not an outlier when it comes to that. So this is the daily chart, and this price action goes all the way back to October of 2021. And I wanted to bring this up because someone else brought this up as well. A lot of the worst performing coins are still down 55 to 75% from their all-time highs, and there's probably a reason for this, and it has to do with tokenomics. AVAX is a good coin, and it has good use cases, but there is an issue with inflationary pressures and vesting unlocks. So that is something to consider when picking coins for long-term investment, meaning this cycle. I would not keep this longer than, or the next 12 to 18 months as the cycle peaks. But as you can see here, we'll go ahead and bring our supply and demand zones, and these zones do go back all the way to the beginning of the price action on this chart. And as you can see, we have what was a demand zone back in 2021, 2022. We broke through that, and we hit an area of demand down here that broke down as well, and then that became resistance all the way through this consolidation period. We then hit it as resistance, the very lower supply area. We then punched through that, punched through the secondary area of supply, hit this third area of supply, rejected off of that, made this former area of supply demand, proceeded to make our new all-time high for the year of 2024, and then we had several macro issues that probably coincided with the charts. Whether the charts predicted this or whether the macro event caused the issue, it remains to be debated, but that was because of war going on in the Middle East. We had a bad GDP print and a bad CPI print when it came to inflation. So as we move down in here and get a better look at the price action, we'll go ahead and put our other indicators here, put our visible range volume, check out any potential chart patterns. And what you can see here is that we do have some consolidation here. So initially when I looked at this without the auto pattern turned on is that this is a pull, and this is a consolidation area that looks very familiar, and it should to you as a bear flag. The auto pattern chart indicator is showing this as a pendant, and it also could be construed as a triangle. And what that really is to me is neutrality or indecision in the price action. And as you can see, this does coincide around a point of control at $35.82. So that's where the price action is working right now. And this is probably consolidation in relation to we weren't sure where the markets were going. So it basically ping-ponged between two round numbers, and that's very interesting when it comes to technical analysis, is that traders love round numbers, and that ended up being basically between $30 and $40. So if you traded this, you made a lot of good money, and because of the low volume, which is another thing I want to show, the indicators worked very well. Traditional indicators would have provided you very good areas for sell and buy orders. So as you can see, if we go the bull route, we got a price target back into our area of supply at $50 to $51. And to the downside, it's back to all-time lows. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're at an inflection point in the crypto market, and I think we're going to see some upside. How much AVAX goes from here remains to be seen, and that really depends on Bitcoin dominance. But I do know there was a question from a member saying that or asking if we can go lower. And the answer is always yes. But is the probability to the downside? The one thing that I think is concerning is that we keep retesting this area of demand to the downside. However, with Bitcoin's change in price action to the upside, I think this is potentially our bottom area. The other thing we want to look at are the oscillators, and that can help us make a better decision. When we look at the market cipher indicator, you can see momentum was to the downside. We did have a bullish divergence here, and you can see that the momentum waves to the downside are decreasing over this period. So that is a good sign for momentum to potentially change to the upside. We are not there yet. And we'll probably have to wait for Bitcoin to move more to the upside before alts really react to this. And the other thing is we do have money flow in the red, which is still bearish. So we want to be cautious when it comes to looking at market cipher and what it's telling us. When we look at our traditional oscillators, the Stoke has bottomed out and inflected back to the upside above 20. We do have the purple line is RSI and it's still below 50, but we do have our MFI above 50, which is a good sign. So it looks like money flow is coming back into this coin. Not a whole lot, still looking more neutral than anything else. When we look at our MACD, we did have a MACDFU to the upside, which is nice to see. So we show that momentum is increasing to the upside. And we had two good histogram prints as well that shows that we have some bullish continuation to the upside. Now we'll go to our 4 hour. And the other thing to note is that on the daily, we were below all simple moving averages, which is bearish as well. So we have a lot of work to do. Looking at the 4 hour, we are still below the 200 simple moving average on the 4 hour as well, hitting that as resistance. So if we look in here a little closer, you can see that this is the 200 simple moving average on the 4 hour. We hit that as resistance in confluence with the localized point of control. So that's not great. I would probably wait till we come down here with confluence with our momentum oscillator showing to the upside if I was to make a trade here. But as you can see, we're printing a red dot, and that's showing that momentum on the 4-hour is to the downside. Same here, we have the stochastic RSI flipping to the downside, as well as our RSI and MFI. And looking at the MACD, still showing to the upside, but you can see with the histogram, that momentum looks like it's switching. So something to consider. Now looking at the 1 hour, you can see with more detail this consolidation area between $30 and $40. So if you traded this, again, you did very well. We hit it about 3 times to the bottom side. We're rejecting from the localized point of control. Just like in the 4-hour, we did have a wedge, and it looks like, we had this sinusoidal wave occur. And if you were trading this, I would expect this to come back up here, but AVAX stalled, which is concerning. So not a great look at the moment for AVAX. Again, if we do break this, we will go down lower, but I don't foresee that as long as Bitcoin continues its momentum to the upside. And we don't have any other hiccups when it comes to the larger economy on the macro scale. The other thing that I wanted to look at was tokenomics, and there have been a lot of unlocks with inflationary tokens, and AVAX is one of those. So this is cryptorank.io, and this is where you can look at cryptos of your choice and see what their unlocks are looking like. AVAX isn't the worst of these, but there are a few that are occurring with the vesting team. And we have another one in the next 5 days, which is depending on the team, is between 1.5%. It looks like. So these 4 teams are still conducting their unlocking schedule. So that's one thing to look at when picking these coins for long term, or when I say long term, for this cycle over the next 12 to 18 months as we peak out here. That is going to suppress price, and we may or may not be able to reach our highs. Now, AVAX has a lot going for it, and it's a big part of the gaming sector. So as that recovers with positive momentum to the upside, this will recover as well. But there might be other coins that might be better, and that's really a debate for another time. But I hope you found this helpful, and look forward to seeing everyone else's questions and creating more videos. Thank you. Bye.